Welcome to the English Fair. This is Teenagers 8. This is teacher Alfredo Arnedo, and this presentation is about cultures around the world. The order of the events are, the order of the events are Spanish culture, then we're going to have a presentation about American culture, then we're going to have a presentation about British culture, then French culture, and finally Italian culture. So we're starting now with the Spanish culture, and the classroom is yours, my friends. So let's get started.
Well, good morning, everybody. We are the group number one, and we are going to introduce to you the Spanish culture. The integrants of these groups are Mariana Cardona, Isabela Frias, Laura Hernandez, and me. We have to start with the history. The history of Spain is one of the most exciting that you can find around the world. Spain is a small territory in the westernmost part of Europe that has had a history parallel to all of other countries over the century. The territory occupied by Spain had been fight for a lot for the most important empires, starting with the Carthaginians, Romans, the Arabs, and then the Christian kings, began what became the largest empire of the world with the discovery of America. In fact, with the King Philip II, there was no moment in the day when the sun didn't cover some Castilian territory. This empire has territories from Spain to Philippines, America, Italy, and some areas of the present-day Germany. Now we have the typical foods. The typical foods in Spain are characterized by the little use of spices, the use of olive oil, and the different kinds of vegetables, meat, and fish. First, we have the paella. Paella is a good dish that is mainly made of rice seasoned with lemon. Depending the region, the people use chicken, rabbit, and different kinds of vegetables. Then we have the tortilla or omelette, that it's a bread made from the mixtures of potatoes and beaten egg. The people also use onion and carrot, and this one is consumed in restaurants and bars in the cities. And then we have the gazpacho, that it's a soup that is consumed in the summer in Spain. It's a cold dish and it's mainly made from tomatoes, cucumbers, and bell peppers.
Some of the traditional dances of Spain are fandango, one of the most famous dances in Spain. It is a cheerful and lively dance that is danced in trio. Bolero, one of the oldest and most traditional dances. It is a fast dance with singing passes and music turns. The flamenco dance that today hippies dance in sacred mode for tourists. Flamenco, a passionate dance originally from the gypsies. Flamenco is famous all over the world. Several couples hold hands and dance in a chorus. And finally,
Turn on the camera,
popular in the
please.
east, one step dance. Costumes. Regarding the traditional clothing for men, it is a black and red hat, velvet vest, velvet pants, espadrilles, sash, and white shirt. The paleros and paleras were the most typical costumes. As for the women's wardrobe, they are patterned skirts, bodices, apron, and manteletes.
Typical music. Among the most important types we must highlight in addition to flamenco, we have rueda and the copla andaluza. Flamenco is a Spanish musical genre that debuted in Andalusia, especially in areas of Seville, Cádiz, and Jerez de la Frontera, as well as in some areas of the region of Murcia and Extremadura. Rueda is a dance especially practiced in the Alto Verolense, Segovia, Burgos, Soria, and Cantabria. Copla andaluza is an artistic genre of Spanish music that combines music, lyrics, and interpretation. The Spanish musical instruments are, the first one is castanets, also called cruzmatas. This musical instrument is one of the most representative of the canon of Spain. Its sounds is reminiscent of the rhythmic trot of a horse. The second one is cowbell. These bells, whose initial operation was to support cattle grazing, are also used to accompany some cultural manifestations. And the last one, and third one, is sambomba. This instrument has a taut membrane that produces sounds. Its use is typical of the Christmas season. I have the flamenco music.
Okay, Pedro Sanchez, politician. He's a Spain politician, president of the government since June 2018. He's also Secretary General of the Spain Social Work Park since 2017. After being re-election to the position, we already will between 2014 and 2016. Florentino Pérez Rodríguez, businessman, Spain businessman and January an ex-politician. He's a president of the ICS Group and of the Real Madrid Club de Fútbol. He also a patron of the Teatro Real and the Fundación de Ingenieros de Caminos y Canales y Puertos. Rafael Nadal, sport. Spain professional tennis player, considered one of the best players in the history and best of all time on clown course. Madrid. The capital is the most visited city in Spain, and after a toast possibly for the culture tourists, with in impressive museums, its food routes to enjoy the gastronomic and event its park and marks. Barcelona. Attractive visited at all time of the years, avant garden, show, shopping, and the monumental. An artist errand with equal are its main resort to receive visitors every day. Sevilla. Some of the reason why it is so visited are its essential monuments like the Cathedral of the Giralda, but also festivals or fairs, the tradition with.
Now here's 3 questions that were in the presentation. The answer was in the presentation. If someone wants to answer, please raise your hand. The first question is, which was the king who kept the kingdom of Spain in peace?
Okay, guys, it's time for participating. The group is asking you questions about their presentation. Please try to answer. If you don't want to use the microphone, you can use the chat that is here in Zoom and tell your answers. So be active and please participate. Well, while people are trying to answer these questions, I have a question for you guys. This is a question for Maria Sierra. Maria Sierra, what is your favorite Spanish dish and why?
Well, my favorite Spanish dish is the gazpacho because it's a soup and it's very, very cold. And it's like a vegetarian. It's just made from vegetables, and it's kind of nice.
And you, Mari Cardona, uh, what is your favorite city in that country and why?
Madrid. Are you listening to me?
No, go ahead.
Madrid.
Why Madrid? Why?
I don't know. It seems like the culture and people are like happy. I don't know. But I like Madrid a lot.
I don't know if the participants wants to participate. So guys, what are the answers for the general questions? Which was the king who kept the kingdom of Spain in peace? What is the name of that king? Does anybody know? What is the answer, group? What is the answer for number one, please? Remind the people about it.
The answer for number one is Felipe II.
Felipe II, very
Felipe
good,
II. He was
excellent.
the king who kept the kingdom of Spain in peace.
That's excellent. So what kind of music do you think is the most danced by Spanish? So this is a question for the audience. I don't know if somebody here wants to participate. What do you think is the answer, Santiago? Samir, Sebastian.
Flamenco, teacher, or tango?
Flamenco, and that's perfect. That's the idea. Everybody's participating in the chat Zoom. Excellent. Santiago says that is flamenco, and MJ says it's flamenco. Is that the answer, group?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Excellent, very good. And finally, what city picks your attention? What city picks your attention? Somebody here? Sofia Fuentes, for example. What city are you interested in visiting in the future? For example, Sofia. Coraima, which city would you like to visit in the future in Spain? Madrid. Why?
Madrid
Why?
or Barcelona.
Because I
Be-
like this culture.
Okay, very good. Excellent. Good presentations. Congratulations, Spanish culture. You did a really good job. I loved your presentation, the way you were, using the Spanish flag and everything. Congratulations. And now we're going to continue with group number 2. Remember that for group number 2, we have the American culture. So please, American culture, let me know if you are ready for these presentations. So the classroom is yours, okay? You can start now, okay? Remember to share your screen. Remember to pay attention to the microphone, that the sound is good. And remember to be not to be nervous. Try to be relaxed. This is just a presentation and you're doing a good job. So let's get started. The classroom is yours. Go ahead.
Well, good morning. Um, my name is Maria Jose Rodriguez. Today we're going to talk to you about the American cultures. The members of my group are Andrea Arias, Julia Magargas, and Carol Martinez.
Okay, the United States is famous for its great celebrations. Some of these celebrations are Thanksgiving. It's a traditional party on the fourth Thursday of November where Americans gather with family and friends to share a great dinner where the protagonist is the turkey. Now, which day of the year is the most fun for children? It's Halloween. It is on November 31. It's the day of the witches. The tradition is to dress as and go calling the house to order candy under the premise trick or treat. Independence Day. The 4th of July is celebrate the declarations of independence in 1776, in which the country had its formal separations from the British Empire. It is usually celebrated with many activities such as paradise, fireworks shows, and baseball games.
American gastronomy. North American gastronomy is the result of a measure of numerous culinary influenced by migrants who has arrived in the country from Europe, Asia, through America and Africa. An example is Italian sauce spaghetti and German sausage, which together made the popular spaghetti with spaghetti and sauce. The same happens with hot dogs and hamburger of German. Orange, popular in the United States, is dishes use so use ingredients of indigenous origin, such as corn, beans, sunflower, potato, pepper, um, ingredients and custom from other parts of the world. Some dishes, hot dogs. Hot dogs are one of the typical food or dishes of the United States. The workers in the country eat it the most, especially in New York. It is also very popular in sport, sporting events and square in the country. Onion rings. Onion rings are one of the typical food or and dishes of the United States. They are crispy and appetizing onion rings that are eaten along with ketchup or as a side to other meals. Hamburger. The hamburger is the king of the American cuisine. Its name is from, is from of German city of Hamburg and originated in North America in the late 19th century. Cheese. Mac and cheese are very easy to prepare. Just cut the macaroni, add the cheese, and a few light. You can gratinate a little. Macaroni and cheese are sold in the supermarket. Uh, you can to buy them, and you can to prepare in your house.
Typical dance of the United States. In the United States, we find different typical dance. Some of them come from the slave that existed in the country in the 19th century, while others derive from the traditional dance of the European slaves. Among the most popular, we find Charleston. It's a dance popularized by tune called the Charleston by composer James Johnson. It's danced in 4 times, alternating arms and length with great mobility in the feet. Rock and roll was born in America in mid-1950 and is primarily a mix of jive and boogie. The Bay State have a the base state has an A state sequence. Tap dance. It began in 1830 in the borough of New York City as a fusion of Irish, Scottish, and English dance. In this dance, the feet move rhythmically while a musical stone is performed. Hip hop. It emerged in the United States in late 1960 in African and Latin American communities in neighbors like the Bronx and Brooklyn. Thank you.
American industry. The American film industry has had a profound effect on cinema around the world since the early 20th century. Its story is divided into 4 periods: the silent era, classic Hollywood cinema, the new Hollywood, and the contemporary period. The second instance recorded and taken of images capturing and reproducing motion was a series of photographs of Edward Muybridge, showing a galloping horse, using a set of fixed cameras placed in a row. Muybridge achievement motivated inventors everywhere to try to create similar devices and could capture that movement. In the US, Thomas Alva Edison was the first to produce such a device, the kinetoscope. Invention of cinema as an autonomous art. The start point of American cinema was gripped with the film The Birth of Nation. The Birth of Nation is one of the great milestones in the story of cinema, and it is because the director gathers and systematizes all narrative resources that had been developed in cinema up to that point. Golden Age of Hollywood. During the so-called Golden Age of Hollywood, a visual and sound style is designated for films and mode of production used in the film industry between 1910 and 1960. The studio systems entered for the Golden Age of Hollywood succumbed to two forces in the late 1940s. a federal intervention that separated the production of films from their exhibition in theaters, and the invention of television. The number of films being shot dropped sharply, even those with large budgets, making a change in the strategy to be followed by the industry. Studios focused on producing entertainment that could not be offered by televisions, shows, and productions with a transcendental arguments. Although television ended the hegemony of film industry in American entertainment, the emergence of television would be advantageous in its own way for movies. And now we're gonna have like a question time when we're gonna write some questions in the chat of Zoom. And the person who wants to participate can do it.
So audience, now it's time for the questions for the group. I don't know if you have any questions for the people who were having the presentation. ¿Alguna pregunta para los compañeros que pusieron? A ver, audiencia, students, remember that you also are important in this class, in this English fair. Pero sí, voy a comenzar con una pregunta. Group, according to your presentation, what is that celebration, American celebration, that we're going to have this month? What is the American celebration that we're having this month? Actually, the last Thursday of November. Thanks and answer my question. Okay, here in the chat, people say, for example, Andrea Arias says Thanksgiving. Is that the answer? Yes, that's the answer, Thanksgiving Day. So Thanksgiving. Now I have another question for the group. What is the typical dish for Thanksgiving? What do people eat when they celebrate Thanksgiving Day?
It's not turkey.
Turkey, very good. Excellent. Joshua, Alejandro, Isaac, do you have any questions for the group, please? Sebastian, Alejandra. Okay, here in the chat, Maria Jose Rodriguez says, which day of the year is the most fun for children? What is the answer, group? Okay, Isaac says Halloween, very good. Halloween. Which day of, and what else? Let's see another question. Okay, what struck you up the most? I mean, what did you like most about your research about the American culture? What is the most, I would say, interesting thing you saw during the presentation? What did you like most? Audience, para la audiencia, ¿qué le gustó más de la presentación? And Maria Jose, MJ has a question. What place do you like most in the States? This is a question for the group. But before answering that question, I have a question for the audience, para la audiencia. So, what part of the presentation did you like most? And
I
why?
think I like the whole presentation because it was like with a lot of information, a lot of important information.
Actually, you're right, and I love the presentation, the sequence of the events. You did a really good job, my friends. Congratulations. I'm really proud of you. Okay, now let's go with Maria Jose's question. So, group, according to you, what is that place that you like most in the States and why? Coraima, Maria, Carol, Andrea.
I like New York.
New York, okay.
Because I like her cities.
That's excellent. What about you, Maria Jose
Yes,
Rodriguez?
yes, her his place.
Sorry?
Really? Carmel was saying something. My favorite city in the United States could be LA, Los Angeles.
Okay, Los Angeles, California. Very good.
Yeah,
I guess because it's near the celebrities, right?
yeah, it's like a so big city.
What about you, Carol?
My favorite city in the United States is New York.
New York. I guess because you want to go to the Times Square, the Central Park, and visit the different museums in there. And what about you, Andrea Arias? Tell me your answer.
My favorite city is New York because it's a city with many opportunities.
Okay, excellent. Congratulations, group. I'm really, really proud and happy of your presentation. And now we're going to continue with the next one. And the next group is going to be about British culture. We were discussing or having a presentation about American culture. And right now we're going to continue with the British culture. So before starting with the presentation, I repeat, check the microphone, the sound, that everything is working properly. The sound and everything, please, before starting, it's very important to do that. And let's get started. The classroom is yours.
Good morning, everybody. Today, this group is going to talk about the British culture. The members of this group are Alejandro R. Isaac Scafi, Sofia Fuentes, Maria Caro, and my person, Alejandro Bruno Ortega. Introduction and generalities of this culture. The culture of the United Kingdom, also called British culture, can be described as the legacy of the story of the developed in an island country. A great power is a result of the political union conformed for four countries, each retaining its distinctive elements of the culture, traditions, and inclusive customs. It is a result of to follow the rule of the British Empire. A consequence of the British culture can be seen in language, traditions, and inclusive in the legal system from ex-mini colonies. An example of these colonies can be Australia, Australasia, and Australasia, and the United States from America. Other names that the British culture has it has are the culture of the United Kingdom or England culture. Now that we finish with the introduction of this culture, we continue to explain the themes that make it up the topic of the culture. Thank you so much.
The most important time for the British art was during the British Empire. In these times, the everyday life, biblical and historical moments were represented in the art. Most of the British artists were influenced by a lot of cultures, and this is because of the continuous expansion of the British Empire. Nowadays, there are some institutions that keep all British art styles and teach their students the history of the British art. Some of them are the Royal College of Art, the Royal Society of Art, and the Royal Academy. There are the most important art representations were made in National Gallery of London, the British Museum, and the National Scott Gallery. Now we continue with the British architecture. The British architecture is a combination of Roman architecture and contemporary architecture. North Island Scotland, and Gales made unique architecture styles that influenced all the world's architecture. There are a lot of edifications from different architecture styles, and most of them are churches and castles, and they are between Scotland and England.
Now I'm going to talk about the music and the astronomy. Okay, about the music, England has a long and rich musical history. English music has been part instrument and part protagonist of the phenomenon, which reached its peak in the late 1960s up to the 1970s. In the 1960s, various musical singers and musical groups emerged in England whose works came to shape many musical movements, especially rock and pop. Its art is based in religious music and ancient and traditional folk instrumentation music. Other astronomy and traditional meals in England include a variety of dishes based on meat, vegetables, bread, cheese, cakes, broth, and fish. In England, various types of bread are produced: babs, pancakes, bread cakes, and a wide variety of cheese made from cows, goats, and sheep's milk, like the cheddar, Cheshire, sage, Derby, Lancashire cheese, and others. Tea and beer are typical and quite iconic drinks in England. And tea time is a separate meal, unlike afternoon tea, which is held in the lower and middle strata of England society. And curious data of this gastronomy is that the roast beef is a dish traditionally associated with England.
Hello, my name is Maria Caro. In this day, I'm going to talk about cinema. The development of cinema is what very interesting because in other situations you enjoy in company or your family or your friends or whatever. So the cinema is a considered as art. It's always as a discussions because the British cinema don't trust us on the state of the state. The real reasons is because the company or the industry don't offer outdoor quality. It should be noted that the age of the movies in the moment have one part of the mission of the United Kingdom. It could be a cultural, or creative, or historical. It should be noted that the age of the movies, for example, Titanic, Piratas of Caribbean, Lord of the Rings, or Harry Potter saga. And finally, I'll go talk about of the literary. The literary of the British is most associated with the United Kingdom. The moment most important for reading in different language. We're reading in different language. The UK published a 2,000 millions of books, and Edinburgh is considered the city of the literary. Thank you.
Excellent presentation, my dear students. Congratulations. I loved the presentation, the way you were talking and everything. Right now it's time for questions. Let's do this part in. Let's do this section in two parts. Part number one, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions about your presentation, and then you can ask questions to the audience. Okay. So my first question is for the group. So, according to your presentation, what was that part of the British culture you liked most and why?
In my opinion, in my review, the part that I most liked was the cinema, because where I am a person that is like all the or the cinema. And I think that the cinema of the England of the British culture is sometimes is sometimes excellent. Is sometimes that help us to know reflections or think what the problems that society has or have. And it is reflected with the cinema.
Excellent.
I like the most part in the cinema because in other situation you stay you say one movie and you know that maybe is a one part of the dish. It's most I think that is very interesting because you know that maybe you stay in one movie and you know what is the cultural that is present or this associated.
Excellent. Very good. Now, you group are in charge of some questions. You can ask questions to the audience. The audience can participate. Remember that we have here the chat in the Zoom platform, so you can answer using that part of the chat. So, any questions, group, for the audience?
And yes, teacher. What were the mini colonies that the British culture had?
Okay, write the question. It's in the chat. It's in the chat room. Write the question, and if somebody here in the audience has the answer, of course, be active and tell us. Did you write the question?
Wait a minute.
So, audience, if you want to participate, you can use the chat room. Si pueden participar usando el chat, you can share some information that you know about the British culture. What do you know about the British culture? If you want, you can participate, chat. This is an English fair, and we are learning. Everybody here is, sharing knowledge about the different presentation we're having. In this case, the cultures around the world. So the question is, what were the colonies that the British culture had? Oh, that's a very interesting question about the history of that country. So, audience, if you don't know the answer, use Google, Mr. Google, and answer. Answer the question and participate. Okay, here Maria Sierra says Australia and the United States. Is that right, group?
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent, Maria Sierra. Congratulations. Good answer. Okay, friends, thank you for your time, for your enthusiasm, and everything you have done here. It's everything. I don't have words. I'm speechless. Great work, great work, great work. Sorry. And now let's continue with the next group. The next presentation that we're having this morning, my dear audience, we're going to continue with the French culture. Je parle français? Oui. We're going to continue with the French culture.
Yeah.
So let's get started. The classroom is yours. Before starting with the presentations, remember to check your microphone, to check the sound. to check that everything is okay. And the most important, be relaxed. Estar relajados, okay? Tienen que estar relajados, no nada de nervios. This is a presentation. We're having a good time here. So let's get started. The classroom is yours, people.
Good morning. We are going to talk about the French culture, and the members of my group are Santiago Cuello Roa, David Bisbal, and me, Andrés Daibu Castellanos. The history, prehistory. There are important remains of the lower Paleolithic on the Summer River and on the Summer River and the traditional paintings, as well as in La Chapelle aux Saints, Le Moustier, and La Ferracier. From the Upper Paleolithic, there are abundant vestiges of the men of Cro-Magnon and Chancelate, dating back about 25,000 years, which are located in the Dordogne Valley. Among the most famous cave paintings in the world are those of Los Caux and Fond de Gaume in the French Pyrenees. Antique. Around 600 AC, Greek ions arrived in gold and founded on the colony of Massalia, present day in Marseille. Near the mouth of the Rhone, making in the oldest city in France. At the same time, Gallic tribes began to penetrate the east and north of France, thus gradually spreading to the rest of the country between the 5th and 3rd centuries BC. The concept of gold emerged during this period, which corresponds to the Celtic settlement territories located between the Rhine, the Atlantic Ocean, the Pyrenees, and the Mediterranean. The borders of the modern France are roughly the same as those of ancient, subject to great Roman and Greek influences. Kingdom of France, 481 AD to 481 AD to 843 AD. In 451, Attila, the leader of the Huns, invaded Gaul with the help of the Frankish and Visigothic peoples, managing to establish himself in the main part of Gaul, in the formerly the Franks, from whom the ancient name France derives. Modern France always were the first tribes among the Germanic conquerors of Europe. After the fall of the Roman Empire to convert to Christianity, following the baptism of King Clodovius in 498, France thus obtained the title of the older daughter of the church. And the country would adopt this as justification for being called the most Christian kingdom in Europe. Kingdom of France, 843 AD to 1791 AD. The existence of France as a separate entity began with the Treaty of Verdun 843, which divided Charlemagne's Carolingian Empire in Eastern France, Western France, and Middle France. Western France understood approximately the area occupied by modern France, of which it was a forerunner. His kings continued to use the title of kings of the Franks until in the government of Philip August, who first used the title of King of France in a diplomatic document dated in 1204.
Now I'm going to talk about culture. Culture. France still inherits today's reputation of being a founding country in terms of protocol and good manners. It has valuable tradition including gastronomy, in which cheeses and wines stand out, as well as how culture and some other traditions relate to luxury and prestige. One of the main customs are family meals, which is respect despite the fast pace of its cities. Another French custom is not to eat between meals or drink drinks that spoil a taste for food. If a family invites you to eat, uh, you have to stay punctually is basic and it is recommended that the personal arrangement be formal. At home, it is customary to repeat several times the dish that you like the most, without neglecting and the other dishes of the day. Among the most important customs of the inhabitants of the country is the attendance at theatrical, musical, and cinematic shows. People in France have only one common custom, that of surprising for the safety, for the variety, and for the ease of meeting with the new within losing what they have preserved for years. For the same reason, to get to know the French, you have to move the farther region or the big cities. They preserve all their simple customs, especially in terms of food and fun, which produce a pleasant contrast with urban life. Now, my friend Andres Boy going to talk again.
Language. The French language is a Romance language spoken by approximately 274 million people. One which make it the ninth most spoken language in the world. Uh, it is also the second language used in international relations, communication, and as working language by various global organizations such as the UN or the European Union in Europe. There are dialect variants such as Northern French, Southern French, Belgian French, and Swiss French. Um, as well as numerous variants in countries on other continents, such as Quebec French, Antillean Creole, and Cajun.
And well, I'm going to talk about the gastronomy. And the gastronomy of France is considered one of the most important in the world. It is characterized by its variety, the result of French regional diversity, and both cultural and raw materials, but also its refinement and 20 is influenced is felt in almost all the gastronomies of the Western world, and which have been incorporating into its basis technical knowledge of French cuisine. And several French chefs have a great international reputation, such as Taillevent, Lavarenne, and Carmen Scocifier, and Ducasse or Bocuse. And it is now included along with the gastronomy of Mexico in the list of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity since November 16, 2010. And some typical dishes of French are the raclette. The raclette is a Swiss cow's milk cheese which is also produced in several French regions, such as the County French, Savoy, Brittany, and Auvergne. Gratin potatoes. This dish originates from the former French province of Delfinado and was first mentioned in the 1788 when the Duke of Clermont-Tonnerre wanted to surprise with something original at a gala dinner. Onion soup. Although one version notes that onion soup was invented during the French Revolution, The truth is that is already appears in a 14th century recipe store that is preserved in the National Library of France. Ratatouille. This dish of Provençal cuisine is native to Nice. It is a stew on olive oil of different vegetables such as eggplant, zucchini, onion, tomato, pepper, and garlic, depending on on which are cooler depending on the season. Moules frites. French moules are mussels with fries that French from the north of the country, and the Belgians sit down to eat in abundance with a cheese sauce with onion and a lot of ice beer. Thanks.
Okay, we have finally finished with the French culture presentation. Excellent job, my friends. Now it's time for the questions, and we're going to divide this part in two parts. First of all, I'm going to ask some questions to the group, and then the audience is going to use the chat Zoom room section in order to participate too. So my first question is for the group. So according to your presentation, what was the most interesting thing you learned about the French culture? Group. What
For
was the
me,
most interesting thing about your presentation?
in my opinion, it was the gastronomy because I think that France has a very extensive variety of food and has a very exotic dish.
Excellent. Another question. Which city or where in France would you like to travel one day and why? What is
Uh,
your favorite French city?
I would like to Paris because it's the love of the city of the love or
Okay.
similar.
The city of love. That's perfect. Excellent. Excellent presentation, my friends. Now let's continue with the next group. Now we're going to continue with the Italian culture. So before starting with the presentation, check your microphones, check that the sound is working properly. Very important to know. It's very important to know that you should be relaxed. Don't be nervous. So, are you here, my friends, from the Italian culture? Are you ready to start?
Yes.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, the classroom is yours. Let's get started. Is that the presentation about Italy?
No.
Check the presentation, please.
Teacher, I have one question.
Espera un momento, profe.
Okay, don't worry. While our classmates are looking for the presentation, let me tell you that our English fair is all about cultures around the world. We have had presentations about the British culture, the American culture, the French culture, and now our last group is going to have a presentation about the Italian culture. Are you are you having problems with the presentation?
No, teacher, it's my internet.
That's okay. But, but maybe another member of your group can start with the presentation while you fix the problem with the internet.
No, no, teacher, yeah.
Okay.
Ey, no, pues una que no era.
The first diapositive, the first one. Okay, today we are going to talk about the Italian culture, and my group is conformed by
Sebastián Arroyo, Amir Otero,
Juan Rojas, and my person, Jose Honorio. First, we are going to start with the history.
The history of Italy covers the ancient period, the Middle Age, and the Modern Age, since classical times, ancient Phoenicians, Greeks, Celts, and Etruscans. Italy was the homeland of the Romans and the Roman Empire. Rome was founded on 753 as a kingdom. In 509 BC, and the republic was confirmed by the Senate and the people.
Okay, I'm going to talk about of the gastronomy. The gastronomy of Italy is one of the most varied in the world. Its cuisines reflect this great cultural variety in its regions, as well as the diversity of its history. Italian cuisine is included, which in the so-called Mediterranean gastronomy is as much imitated as it is practiced throughout the world. Italians are very special when it comes to making food because they like it to be perfect. And the gastronomy of Italy is characterized by its elaboration with abundant vegetable, fruits, meat, fish, rice, and bread. Some of its typical dishes are pizza, and pasta, and risotto. Among the traditional desserts, we have ice cream, better known as gelato, tiramisu, and baba from Naples. Finally, among the typical drinks are the limusero, grappa, and sambuca. Thanks.
Okay, I'm going to talk about the sports. And the most popular sport in the country is the soccer, and called in Italian how calcium, which consists of two teams that of 27 players and 5 goalkeepers, where the objective is to score more points than the rival team, and the calcium has intensified at the local level, reaching the funding and the Football Federation, which is in charge of club football championship and the national team. The national team, which has won and among other trophies, how 4 World Cups and 1 Euro Cup. In addition, he's managed to reach #1 in the FIFA rankings, and the main clubs in the country is Juventus FC and AC Milan and Inter de Milan. Thank you.
The economy. Italy has a major advanced capitalist mixed economy, ranking as the third largest in the Eurozone and the eighth largest in the world. A founding member of the G7, the Eurozone, and the OECD, it is regarded as one of the world's most industrialized nations and a leading country in world trade and export. It is highly developed country with the world's eighth highest quality of life in 2005 and the 26th Human Development Index. The country is well known for its creative and innovative business, and the Italian economy is based on the agriculture. Thanks.
Okay, thanks for your presentation. Actually, we had a chance to enjoy a presentation about the Italian culture. Right now, a group, I want you to ask questions to the audience in order to have this interaction online. So, Joshua, any question for the audience? Ask a question to the audience, please.
If anyone can mention what are the main dishes, the principal dishes of Italy that were mentioned in the presentation.
What were the main dishes that were mentioned during the presentation? So if you have problem with the audio, don't worry, you can participate using the Zoom group chat and tell your answer. This is, you know, an online interaction. So you can use the chat room, or if you want, you can raise your hand, activate your microphone, and tell your answer. Okay, here in the chat, we have people interacting. Isaac says pasta. Maria Jose says pasta, pizza, and risotto, I think. Is that right, group? Yeah.
It's right, teacher.
Sorry?
It's true.
Yeah, it's true. That's right. Now, I have a question for the group. You told me that soccer is one of the most important sports in that country. So, what is your favorite Italian soccer club? Soccer club, sorry.
My favorite Italian soccer club is Roma.
The Rome, okay.
My favorite soccer Italian club is Juventus because he is Cristiano Ronaldo.
Ah, okay. And who is Cristiano Ronaldo?
Soccer player, teacher.
Famous soccer player, right?
Famous soccer player. I think that is the best.
Excellent, excellent, very good. So with this Italian presentation, we have finally finished our English thread about the cultures around the world. Thanks for your cooperation, for your time, for the design of the presentations. You really did a good job. I loved it. So thank you very much. And now we're going to continue with the feedback about this presentation. So yeah, actually, even though it was the first time you were having this kind of things online, you did a really good job. Something that I loved about this, the way you presented the topics, also the background you had when you had the cameras on, it was really nice. Congratulations. So, well, that's all. Thank you for everything. Right now, my students are going to stay here because we're going to visit other, I would say, English fairs that are having right now at the Colombo. Okay, thank you.
Congratulations to all of your students and you, Mr. Arnedo.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Rada. So, my dear class, I'm going to look for a link. We're going to visit other groups to enjoy other presentations. So wait a minute to find a link in order to share with you that link and, go to those presentations. Wait a minute. Ok, group, permítanme felicitarlos, hicieron un buen trabajo, se lucieron, me encantó mucho pues lo que hicieron. No tengo palabras, muy orgulloso de ustedes. Really nice job. MJ, excellent performance. I see your progress, congratulations. Also, I love about the American culture, the way you presented those PowerPoint presentations, they were really nice. And that's really interesting to know that we have this opportunity to share our knowledge during the virtual online classes, the virtual classes. Bien, aquí nos faltó una compañera que tenía problemas de internet. Le vamos a darle la oportunidad, el espacio para que haga su presentación. La compañera Vanegas, ¿estás lista para presentar? It's okay, don't worry, you can do it individually.
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, Facilito, turn on the camera and talk. We can listen to your presentation. That's okay. Don't worry. The classroom is yours. So go ahead.
Okay. Teacher, mi cámara no enfoca bien.
Okay, that's okay. What are you going to talk about?
Valeria and I, we are going to talk about the environment.
The environment.
About the problems of the environment.
Tell us about the environment.
Yeah.
Si quieres te doy tiempo y me lo presentas a las 11 de la mañana. Para este tiempo que organice una presentación, hagas algo y lo muestres, ¿te parece?
Jeff, porque es que no sé dónde estará ella, porque no me ha dicho nada. No me ha vuelto a ver desde ayer.
Bien, mira lo que vamos a hacer. Te voy a conectar a las 11 de la mañana, después que los compañeros de las 11 hagan su presentación. Tú tienes la tuya. Te das tiempo para que organices bien con la compañera que tuviste problemas con el internet y lo hagas a esa hora. Después de que ellos terminen, pues presentas tu temática, ¿oíste? ¿Te parece?
Ok.
Dale, entonces es el mismo link, el mismo hora, o sea, todo igual, lo que cambia es la hora. Va a estar conectada tipo 11 de la mañana, 11 y pico, ver la presentación de los compañeros y después hacer la tuya. En caso de que no se pueda conectar la otra persona, tú respondes por tu trabajo. Te doy tiempo para que organices todo, el PowerPoint, el fondo y todo eso, para que lo hagas, ¿oíste?
Bueno.
Bien, aquí voy a compartir un link para ir a una presentación. Ya le comparto el link. Vamos a observar otras presentaciones. It's very important also to see other presentations. Voy a compartir el primer link por el grupo de WhatsApp. El grupo de WhatsApp. Esa no, vamos a coger la de Geraldine Carmona. Esa es better. Encuentro, wait a minute. Bueno, antes de irnos a las otras presentaciones, les comento que el próximo sábado vamos a tener los exámenes escrito final. Sobre las últimas 4 unidades que dimos este semestre. Repasan eso. Hacen un examen muy sencillito y corto, pero sustancioso. Entonces estudian para esa parte.